Hi, my name is Mariann Gudac, and welcome to my podcast. It has been a little while since I have done a podcast, so I figured I better get back on it and do a podcast. I actually have been busy. I've been busy with my life coaching. I probably should say I am a certified wholeness and wellness life coach. With an emphasis in grief and spirituality. I've been busy with that, and that's a good thing. I love doing it. I love my clients. They probably teach me as much or more than I teach them, but I love doing it. Life coaching is great. Like it just gives you so many tools to just help you through the struggles in life. And as we get older and the circumstances in the world are changing, and we find it difficult to sort all this out, the things that I have learned with life coaching really helps me to not jump off the ledge, I guess is a good way of putting it. So if I can help you to not jump off the ledge, I would love to help you. So please reach out to me. So there was a couple things that I wanted to talk about on this podcast. I had a client today, and we kind of talked about sentences that we're really familiar with. Okay, so I'll just, instead of me like trying to think what I'm going to say, the one sentence that came up this morning was life is hard. And what I asked my client was, is it? Is life hard? And some of you that are listening to this, you're going to say, well, yeah, and like, how dare you tell me that life isn't difficult? Where we have to go with that is we have to examine that sentence. Is life hard, or is it a circumstance or some circumstances in our life that is making it hard, or making that one thing hard? Does that necessarily make life hard? And you would have to answer that. But where I'm going with that is that life is hard is a thought. It's not a circumstance. So let's just say we can go even with my personal experience. My daughter's accident and her death. That is the circumstance, right? The circumstance itself cannot hurt me. The only thing that can hurt me are my thoughts after the circumstance. And so then we go to my thought after that is, that was horrible. That was devastating. That was traumatic. It made life hard. It made life unbearable. Those are all thoughts, right? Thoughts that could be running through my head. Or I can go to, it was awful. It was traumatic. But I can also go to the thought of, but I'm very grateful that I was able to be with her in the accident, as traumatic and horrific as it was, and as many times as I run that through my brain every single day, many times through the day and even in the night. I'm very, very grateful that I was able to be there in her death. I was there for her whole entire life. And I think that my Heavenly Father knew how important it would be to me that I was also with her in her death. And so when we go to that place, that's a gratitude place. And gratitude changes everything. Like, it changes the whole action that comes from that. Because on the other side of that, when we just go to, the accident was horrific and it was traumatic and, it ruined my life. Then we go to the emotion of depression, sadness, devastation, anger, a whole list of very, very negative emotions. And then we go to the actions from that, and that is set in utter devastation, not productive. And then the result from that is basically, I'm not living, right? So on the other side of that, when we go to a place of gratitude, even though it was devastating and difficult and all those things, then the action from that, from just the gratitude emotion, is I feel like I want to be productive. I feel like I want to help other people. I want to better myself. I want to get closer to my Savior. And then the result that comes from that is I study more. I read my scriptures more. I try to read uplifting things. My life coaching. I get my certification in life coaching. I talk to other people. I help other people. They help me. So I go from, the result of that I'm just sitting in this deep, dark hole to being productive, right? And that all comes from the thought, because the circumstance didn't change. Circumstance is a circumstance. But I had to change the thought to be able to change how I want to be in this life. And that's the thing. That's the place that you have to go, is that we all have devastating things happen in our life. But we have to decide what we want to do with it. Do we want to stay in that deep, dark hole? And you know what? Sometimes we do. And sometimes we need to. Sometimes we just need to wallow in it and feel bad. And it's, how long do you want to stay there? That's what you have to ask yourself. Like, do I want to stay here for years? Do I want to stay here for months? And that's totally your choice. Nobody should tell you what you should be doing. Maybe they could tell you like what you could be doing, but it's totally up to you. Your emotions are your emotions. You create your emotions. And so another person can't be in your head. They can't be in your body. There was, even though my husband was with me in the accident and we both saw the same exact thing, he sees things differently than I do. He reacts differently than I do. His emotions are different than mine. And I'm not saying he's wrong and I'm right, or vice versa. I'm just saying that as people, we create our own emotions, and emotions come from thoughts. So we create our own emotions from the thoughts in our brains, and no one else is in your brain but yourself. I read this earlier today, and I just kind of wanted to read it. It's from Rachel Hollis. It's from the book Girl, Wash Your Face. You know, it's a very popular book. It's been around for a bit. But this kind of hit me today, and I think it's just because of what I've been thinking all day. But anyway, her brother took his own life, and she was the one that found him. She was only 14 years old, and he was a couple years older than she was. And this is really good. Okay, so I'll kind of just skip down here, and she says, I will tell you about my trauma in some of its gruesome detail because I want you to know there was a time when I didn't think I could wade through it. There was a time when even with my future stretched out in front of me, all I could see was blood and fear and loss. But I am still here, and so are you. I am still here because I refuse to let anything or anyone decide what I get to have. I am still here because I refuse to let my trauma have the last word. I am still here because I will not let a nightmare have more power than my dreams. I am still here because I didn't allow the hard time to make me weak. I willed it to make me strong. This is also good. She said, recently I was watching Tony Robbins' documentary, I'm Not Your Guru, and he said, if you're going to blame your hard times for all the things that are wrong in your life, you better also blame them for the good stuff too. I was stunned to have something tangible to explain the way I have felt about my brother's death. You're not supposed to acknowledge the good things that come out of trauma. There's something perverse and unhealthy about it. It seems wrong to look for any silver lining, because that means appreciating something terrible that happened to you. But I recognize now that if you don't look for the good that came out of what you've lived through, it's all wasted. That hits really hard with me. She also goes on to say, the path through hardship or extreme trauma is one of the most difficult things a being can encounter, but make no mistake, the only way is to fight through it. Pain and trauma are a violent whirlpool, and they will drag you under if you don't battle to stay afloat. There will be times, especially in the beginning, when it will take everything within you to keep your head above those waves. But you must keep your head above the waves. It is difficult, but you are tough. Her words, like I said, they just really hit me. You have this time after something traumatic that you really fall into this deep hole. It takes every bit of strength that you have to claw your way up and out of that hole. And sometimes I fall back down in it. And it can be, for instance, I had to run to the store the other day, and I got about halfway there, and just this thought came into my head, and basically it just said, Whitney's not here. You know, I've had her for 31 years. It still feels unreal. Like I said, it's been a little over 2 years, and I haven't seen her. for a little over 2 years. But I still expect her to walk through the door. But I was fine going to the store, and then that thought just came into my head, and I just started crying. It still makes me sad. It will always make me sad. The thoughts of the accident are a nightmare. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, the things that I saw. I would pray that no one has to ever watch their child try to be resuscitated on a hospital bed with them pounding on her, shocking her. No one should ever have to witness that. But I am grateful. I'm grateful that God allowed me to be with my baby. At the end of her life. And even though her mortal body wasn't comprehensive because she had so much brain damage, I know that her spirit was very much alive. I know that she wanted to live. She loved life. But God had a bigger plan. He knows everything from beginning to end. And at some point, He's going to make this right for all of us involved. So, anyway, I didn't plan on getting on here and getting all teary, but I hope that this podcast will help you to realize that we can go through some really tragic, horrific things in our life, and even if we don't, even if it's just the day-to-day circumstances that in this world that we live in, those circumstances are difficult. Going to the grocery store and coming out with 2 bags of groceries and you've spent $200 is difficult. Going to the hospital and you're there for basically 2 hours and your hospital bill is $10,000 with a $7,000 deductible. That's difficult. I'm not going to pretend like life is easy right now. It's not. It's not for anyone. But we can change our thoughts. We can't change the circumstances, but we can change our thoughts. And if we go to a place of gratitude or a place of empathy, it completely will change your emotions, and it will change your actions, and it will change your result, and your life can be better, and you can have the life that you want to live. Even in your sadness and your grief, you can have the life you want to live. So anyway, I don't want to make this too awfully long. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for all the support and love that you give to me, and please reach out to me if I can help you in any way. I love to chat. I love to visit. The first session with me is always free, so we can have a consultation. If you feel like I'm a good fit for you and you're a good fit for me, then we'll just go ahead and proceed. And then I do 12 sessions after that. I can do them virtual or I can do them in person if you live close by me. But I love what I do. I really do. And I'm grateful for it. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So anyway, I'll close up. Have a good evening. Have a good life. And hopefully I'll hear from you. You can reach me. My email is m.mgudac, Gudac, @gmail.com. Or please go to my website. I built the website myself, and I'm pretty proud of it for not knowing what I was doing. But it's pretty, and you can actually reach me through that. And my website is Mariann, Mariann, Gudac.com. So I hope I hear from you. And I'll try not to be such a slacker and get another podcast done soon. Thanks so much. Have a good one. See ya.